Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this eMarketer Academy and Pineberry webinar. I am super excited to see so many people on the webinar today and to welcome Karin, my subject matter expert, my all things SEO ninja, who will be presenting today. Clearly, this is a topic that is on a lot of your people's minds for good reasons, and Karin will take you through everything that you need to know from the get-go at least. Welcome, Karin, to the webinar. We're thrilled to have you here.
Thank you. I'm also thrilled.
So obviously today the topic is 5 factors to succeed with your SEO, and Karin will introduce herself in just a little moment, so you understand her background and why she's here capable of talking to this topic to you. My name is Klaus. I'm a product evangelist and head of partner alliances at eMarketer. If you've been on some of our webinars, you know eMarketer already. I'll just mention in a few words what we're all about. But the practicalities today are we're going to be 45 to 60 minutes on the webinar, depending on how many questions you have. Feel free to submit your questions during the webinar. You'll find on your right-hand side of the screen, you'll find a questions box there. Just type in your questions, and Karin and I will sum up in the Q&A session at the end, answering as many questions as we can. There will be a recording and slides available as well, so don't worry too much about screen grabbing and doing notes, just mental ones and questions for us, please. The objectives are to kind of understand the key concepts of SEO and also get some hands-on tips that you can apply to the SEO work you or your colleagues are doing today. So it's going to be high level and it's going to be practical at the same time. So just a few words about eMarketer. We're a Swedish marketing automation platform. For those of you who don't know us, we've been in the cloud since 2002, catering to all sorts of businesses and company sizes doing marketing automation. Basically, it's a marketing platform in which you can do a lot of different things, all the way from discovering leads on your website to newsletter marketing, drip mail marketing, web form surveys, mobile apps, event management, and so much more. So that is basically your all-in-one toolbox for marketing and marketing automation. That's what we're all about. So we're geeks doing software to marketeers, and luckily we have partners such as Pineberry who are experts on the tactical and strategic stuff of doing, for instance, SEO work, and that is what Karin will dive into today. So without further ado, Karin, I will hand over the slides to you to let you introduce yourself and the topic of today. So take it away, and you should be presenter now. There you go. Enjoy, everybody.
Great. So let's see if I manage here to show my screen. I think that you see my screen now, and it's great to be here today. And thanks for the warmly welcome from you, Klaus. So 5 factors to succeed with SEO is the subject of today. And what about me then? My name is Karin, as you have heard. I've worked with SEO for the past 12-13 years. And since the day I started to work with it, I've been very passionate about it. And I think it's really interesting to try to understand how Google works and how the algorithm works and how you actually should work with your SEO in order to get relevant and profitable traffic to your site. So that's what I'm going to talk about today and try to share as much as possible to you. I'm the sales manager at Pineberry, and as you probably understand, I'm both passionate about digital marketing and SEO, but also about sales and leadership. And apart from that, I like training, and I try to live in a healthy lifestyle, since that gives me a lot of energy coming to work and doing great stuff at work. So shortly about me. What about Pineberry then? Probably some of you have heard about us and some might not have heard about us, but we are a company since 2007. The company was founded by Mikael Wahlgren and Stefan Malstein, and was a pure SEO agency from the start. And during the years, we have more and more become a digital marketing bureau that help our customers with both SEO, SEM, and paid social, but also conversion analysis and copy and web analytics. We are about 50 employees today, and we have our office in Stockholm, but we have customers all over the country in Sweden, but also in other countries in Scandinavia and outside of that as well. So that was shortly about us at Pineberry. Today's agenda looks like this. I'm going to start out with giving you some facts about SEO. And after that, we will go through these 5 factors that I believe are all really important to work with and to give love and time for in order to succeed with SEO. We're going to talk about measurable goals, behavior analysis, on-page links, and finally, patience. And as Klaus said, we really would like to get questions from you. So if you have any questions while I'm speaking here, just write them in the panel, and we will include them in our Q&A in the end of the webinar. So let's start out with some SEO facts. And to start out with what SEO is, I would like to show you this search result here on Google. Here I have searched for the keyword car insurance, and I got this search result at that time when I did this search. And in the upper part of the search result, you can see the advertisements. They are marked with this ad sign, and that is SEM. So that's advertisement that these companies have paid to Google to be visible with. And what you see under is the organic search result, which we call SEO. And these results are decided by Google, since Google thinks in this case that these sites deserve to be shown here for this specific keyword. So it's Google that decides, and you can do a lot to work with your sites in order to have a high chance, at least, to be seen high up in the organic search results. And that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, I would like to give you a few questions. We have a quick poll that we would like to do. And the first question in this poll is, how much experience do you have in SEO? And you should be able to see that poll in your screen here. So please give your answer to that question by clicking one of the alternatives here in the quick poll.
Absolutely, Karin. The poll is launching. A lot of people are voting. Let us know about your experience. It will give Karin some context to relate back to when she goes through. You guys are on the mark. More than almost 80% of you have voted by now. Thank you so much. I'm going to close the poll and share the response. Feel free to give a few comments to the results there, Karin, before we launch the next one.
Great. Yes, I can see here most of you, 63% of you says, I know the key concepts of SEO. And then we have 19% that says this is all quite new to me. So you are beginners, obviously. And 16% I worked extensively with SEO. And then we have 1% that is already an SEO expert. That would be interesting to know who you are, but maybe we'll get that answer later. Thanks for the information. That's great information for me to get.
Thanks, guys. And do you want me to launch the next poll?
Yeah, sure. Do that. We take the next one.
The next one is, are you working hands-on with SEO, or do you have someone else doing it for you? And the options there, I don't work with SEO at all. We do our own SEO work, or our SEO work is done externally, for instance, by an agency or consultant or similar. So let us know what your setup is like. Excellent.
Interesting.
People
They
are
are,
really, yeah.
yeah.
An interesting answer here to discuss. Okay, 80% have voted. I'm gonna close the polls. 81, closing the polls and sharing the results.
Great. Yeah. Okay. So what we can see here, we have 18% saying I don't work with SEO at all. So I would guess and hope that this webinar would be very hands-on and great for you to listen to. Then we have 52% saying I or we do our own SEO work in-house. Great to hear. And then we have 29% saying our SEO work is done externally by an agency or similar. So interesting. A lot of you are on top of it already, obviously, and some of you need to know more, probably, I guess.
Exactly. The right crowd for sure. Thanks everybody for humoring us with your answers there. This just gives a little bit of context. I'll go ahead and hide the results here, and you can continue with your slides, Karin. Thanks.
Great. Yeah, thank you. So let's keep on looking at some SEO facts. Actually, 55 million searches are made every day on Google here in Sweden. To me, this is a number that for me, it's staggering to think of that actually that many searches are made every day. I don't have the exact numbers for other countries, for example, in Scandinavia and Europe right here and now, but I know that the numbers are quite similar in many countries when it comes to how many searches per person and day are made. So in Sweden, we say that approximately 10 searches per adult and day are being made. And so you can imagine or think that it's about 10 searches per adult and day in other countries as well. So a lot of searches are being made. And did you know that actually every sixth search that is made on Google has actually never been made before? So think about this next time you are Googling, probably at least one search per day of the searches you do on Google is a search that no one has made before. And this is a fact that makes it even more important for us to all the time work with SEO, to adapt to the search behavior we have around us, since it's changing all the time, as you understand here. And one more fact is that 90% makes the search before they purchase. So we get a lot of advertisement and we see different marketing initiatives in other channels every day, but it's actually 90% of us that go to Google before we make that actual purchase. So yeah, we can conclude that Google has a really big impact in what we do and what we see every day. But there are other search engines apart from Google. Google is a very big search engine, as you know, but in some countries there are other search engines that actually are bigger. We have, for example, Baidu in China, which is the biggest search engine in there. We have Yandex in Russia, which is the biggest there. But in Sweden and Scandinavia, for example, and in many other countries as well, Google is the biggest search engine. And actually 97% here in Sweden uses Google as their search engine. Then we have the second biggest search engine in Sweden, which is Bing, that is used approximately by 3% of the users and the searchers. Maybe someone of you actually know which is the most common search term that is made on Bing. I don't know if it's possible to write in the chat section, maybe if you know the answer to this one. It would be nice to hear if someone knows it. Do you see, Klaus?
There are quite a few comments there, Karin, and they're all exactly right.
Good. Then you have done your homework, and you know that the most common search term on Bing is actually Google. So yeah, great to hear that you knew it already, but maybe it was news to someone, and it's quite fun actually. I think that that is the most common search term on Bing. Great. So if we look at search engine marketing and compare it to traditional marketing, I would say that we can conclude that both of these channels and these marketing initiatives are very important. And one thing that is really important is that you have a plan and you combine both of them in a smart way together. I mean, all of us get a lot of marketing in front of us every day when looking in the newspaper, when watching television, when we go to YouTube, looking at YouTube clips, or we listen to the radio maybe. But as I said, 90% go to Google and makes a search there before they purchase. This means that even though we have seen maybe these new shoes in the TV commercial or whatever we have seen, maybe in the city, some commercial about a new product, many times we go to Google in the end before we make that purchase. I will give you an example here, and what you can see here is an article that was written. It's a native article, so it's an advertisement in the paper for the customers of Clas Ohlson. Clas Ohlson, this Swedish quite big DIY retailer, which I like a lot. I think it's a great retailer to visit. So they had this advertisement article where they wrote about a product called vakuumpackaren in Swedish, the vacuum packer, and it was made together with OBH Nordica. So here in this article they write about this product, how good it is, how you can use it, why you need it, and instructions and tips regarding to this product. And if I would read this article and if I would feel that this is something I need, yeah, what would I probably do? Yeah, I would probably go to Google after this and search for this vacuum packer, or vakuumpackaren in Swedish. So I did in this case, and unfortunately I didn't get any search result from Clas Ohlson in this case. Instead I saw both advertisements, and I saw organic search results, SEO search results from other companies that could offer me this product. So most likely I actually went and bought this product from a competitor to Clas Ohlson in this case. So I hope this shows you how important it is to actually combine the search engine marketing together with the traditional marketing and think through it all the way from beginning to end, how your target group is behaving in both channels, so to say, in order to actually get the purchase in the end. Here you can see some data on where people are clicking when searching on Google, and you can see the numbers for both desktop searches and the mobile searches. And as you can see, it differs a bit, but what we really can see here is that it is nice to be in the top 3 positions on Google, because that's where people click. We often talk about that page 1 is a great place to be on Google, and that if you are on page 2 or further down, you are basically dead or invisible. But actually, page 1 and position 10 is not that fun to be at. I mean, yeah, you get 1% of the clicks according to this data report. So if you have important keywords that you are ranking on page 1 for today, I would say that it's a smart investment to actually spend some time and money and try to get those keywords to rank a bit higher than in the bottom of page 1, and instead try to go to top 3 or at least top 5 in order to get more clicks. that was the facts about SEO. Let's start to go through these 5 factors how to succeed with SEO. And we start with number 1, which is measurable goals. You sort of need to start there to figure out, what is it that I need? What is it that I want my traffic to do when coming to my site? And dependent on what kind of company you are, if you are a business to business or a retailer or e-commerce, business to consumer, leads generating, or whatever company you are, you have, of course, different kinds of goals and ambitions with your traffic. Here are some examples of goals that you could work with. It could be sales, new customers, leads, traffic, information, or branding. And it can be one or more of these goals, but make sure that you measure them and that you can see when you actually reach these goals. And make sure that you have Google Analytics or similar tool in order to give you the facts and the data on when you succeed on your goals. I can show you what kind of goals we have at Pineberry. As you understand, we are a business-to-business company, and what our sort of main goal is to get new customers. But we have other goals as well, and we have different ways to measure these goals. So these are the measurable goals that we work with as it looks today at Pineberry. Lead forms is something that we look at a lot. It's when we get someone to fill in a lead form and they want us to send them a quote and take a discussion and see if we can find a cooperation. That is a really good lead for us and an important goal to measure. But we also measure phone calls, chat sessions, sold educations. We also have educations that we do together with Webdagarna, IDG. We have 2 books that has been written by our founder, one about SEO and one about SEM. So we measure them as well, how many we sell of these books. We have tools on our blog that you can use later on if you haven't already, where you can test your site and see what kind of SEO score your site would get. These tools we are also measuring, and then newsletter subscribers. So dependent on what kind of business you are, you need to have measurable goals before you set your complete strategy for SEO and start to work with it hands-on. Number 2, then we come to behavior analysis, which is another very important part of your SEO work. And basically what this is an understanding for what your target group is doing on the internet and how they behave there. And you need to figure out, what are they searching for? What are they typing in to Google when they want your products and your service, for example? Which search phrases are they using? Because it's those search and phrases you would like to cover and to rank high for, and you should focus on when it comes to your SEO work. Here you can see example of different search phrases that probably is interesting for us as an SEO agency to rank for, even though we would want to rank for them in Swedish instead of English. And sometimes we talk about keywords, or we talk about search phrase, search term, search question. All of these are basically the same thing. It's what you type in the search field on Google or in your search engine that we talk about. You also need to understand what kind of purpose your target group has when they search for your products or services. And there are some different purposes. I mean, sometimes we need inspiration, or we want inspiration. Sometimes we need information, so we want to read and know more about something. And sometimes we are ready to make a purchase, and then we talk about transactional searches. So you need to map up where in the sales funnel your target group is when they do these different types of searches. And why this is important is because probably you want to focus even higher on those keywords where the target group is closer to a purchase, and probably you can't invest that much time and money in the more inspirational searches, for example. So important to map up the different kinds of searches. Other factors you need to consider is also these three. I'm going to talk them through all of the three here. Relevancy to the business, search volumes and trends, and conversion. And if we start talking about relevancy to the business, you can see an example here. This is a real estate company based in Oslo, Norway. And the three first search terms here are really important for this company to focus on. They are, as you can see here, real estate broker Oslo, and selling houses. All of these keywords are very close to conversion, probably, and they are very relevant to the business. So it's about the core business basically here. On the other hand, we have mortgage, which might be a keyword that is similar and quite close to what this business is about, but it's not really the core business, which makes it not that relevant to focus on. And renovate bathroom should probably not be focused on at all, because this real estate business doesn't renovate bathrooms. Search volumes and trends, also important to look at. Here we have an example from Keyword Planner, which you can find in Google Ads. If you have a Google Ads account, you can use this Keyword Planner to find out which search volumes different keywords have in different markets. And this gives you a very high understanding of what is it that my target group is searching for, which keywords and phrases are they using. Because you might have an idea from the start that, probably people search like this. But many times the data will tell you that that is not the case. So you need to look at the data and the search volumes in, for example, Keyword Planner, in order to understand what are people searching for and which volumes do we have. Is it a high, is the volume so high so we should focus on this keyword? Is it worth it, so to say? Trends is also good to consider, since search words are trending, dependent on season or other activities and stuff like that. So keep in mind also what is trending right now and what might trend a couple of months from now, for example. You can also get a lot of inspiration and ideas by just searching on Google and use the search field there for inspiration and ideas. So there you get a lot of synonyms when you type in a word and start to search. So use that as well. And if we talk about conversions, as I also said, was an important factor to consider. This is basically what you need to think of, that you need to understand where in the sales funnel your target group is when searching for different keywords, as I said before. And for example, real estate broker Oslo is probably a highly converting keyword compared to renovate, which probably isn't. So think about that when mapping up your keywords. Another thing that you can do in order to get inspiration and to figure out which keywords to focus on is looking at competitors. And you can do that in different ways, but one way to do that is to use the tool C-Strix, which we use a lot at Pineberry. It's a great SEO tool. And what you can see there is that you can see a lot of data when it comes to which keywords a certain site is ranking for. So here we have an example from the site Mäklarhuset, which is a real estate company in Sweden, and which key terms or search terms this company is ranking high for. So this could be a good inspiration for another real estate broker agency, for example, to have a look at. Here you can see it's a lot of branding, a lot of keywords with the brand within it. But if you would go further down in this keyword list, you would find other keywords as well, most likely, that can inspire you. And it's also important to be able to take action quickly if you want to succeed with your SEO. Here we have an example from a company that started to write landing pages about this product, the fidget spinner, at the same time as this product started to become very popular. Here in Sweden, it was really, really popular. I think it was 2 years ago, something like that. During that summer, a lot of kids played around with this fidget spinner. And this company, they were really fast at writing content about it, and almost in the same moment as the search volume started to become bigger and bigger, because people really started to search for this search term, they started to rank high, and they went from 0 to 1.2 million of searches in basically no time. This company was Fyndiq, and they managed to really capitalize on this search traffic really good at this point. So I think the key to success there was really that they were fast on it, and they saw that this search word starting to trend, and they started to take action right away. And that's why they managed to succeed good here. And talking about the situation we are in right now with the corona, I think many of us can realize that it can make a big difference if you start to try to adapt to things that are trending in a situation like this, since now the behavior is changing among the people around us, and we are acting in different ways today compared to some months ago. So that's why the search behavior is changing, and that is something we need to be fast on looking at and adopt to. Number 3 is about on-page, and I would like to start to talk about on-page and a part in that is really, really important, and that is content. I would say that content is probably the best investment within SEO. It takes quite a lot of time to write content, but if you do it in the right way, with the great SEO strategy behind it, and you do it by the book, so to say, you have a really, really good chance to actually rank good in Google doing that. So I would like to share an example from us at Pineberry. We have a blog called sökmotorkonsult.se, and we have had this blog during the whole time. I think actually the blog is half a year older than the company is, so it started a bit earlier than Pineberry itself, which means it's about 13 years old now, this blog. And here we write about SEO, SEM, and paid social, and it's our own people, our own employees that are writing, our consultants. So we are not paying another firm or something like that, or writers, content writers doing this. It's we that are doing it, but of course it costs us time basically, and we have estimated from the 60 to 70 posts that we are writing every year, it costs us around 100,000 Swedish kronor. So that is our investment in the blog and in the content of this blog. And every year we get approximately 100,000 users or visitors coming to the blog. And yeah, if you do your maths, you can calculate that we pay approximately 1 Swedish krona per click for this blog. And this we could compare to Google Ads, where we, at least in our Google advertisement, we pay approximately 35 kronor per click. So the content that we are writing on Sökmotorkonsult is a very profitable content and profitable traffic for us. Then you of course need to keep in mind that the traffic that we get to Sökmotorkonsult is probably more of these informational searches, that kind of traffic, and the traffic that we get from Google Ads is probably more of this transactional searches and that kind of traffic. But still, I think it's great to manage to write content and yeah, pay 1 kronor per click in the end for that. So I think this example shows that content is king, and it's yeah, content can drive a lot of really relevant and good traffic to your site. But as I said, of course, you need to have some elements in place, and you need to write your content in a certain way in order to have a higher chance, at least, to rank high on Google. And one rule that you really need to remember and adopt to is that you should never focus on more than 1 or 2 keywords per landing page. And when I say 1 to 2 keywords, I mean that you could work with keywords or search terms that are really similar to each other, that are basically synonyms on the same landing page. But you should never work on 2 different keywords on the same landing page. Then you should create and have 2 landing pages instead. And this is because you need to make it really clear to Google, what is this landing page about? What are we talking about here? What kind of information are we giving? And in the example here, you can see broker and real estate broker as 2 keywords that, yeah, would be relevant to focus on the same landing page. But apartments is a keyword that you should most likely and probably work on another landing page instead. And think of it as if you would write a normal Word document when you write the content of a web page and a landing page. You need your title, you need subtitles or headings, you need the body text, and you need to make it really structured to Google, but also to the readers, what your page is about, and yeah, have a good structure for it, basically. And these are the most important elements to include on your web page. And you should include your primary keyword in all these elements as well, in order to make it really clear to Google, what is this web page and this landing page about. The title, I would say, is the most important element, and that is what you see in the search result on Google when Googling. And also the meta description is what you see there, the description of the landing page. So try to include keyword also in that one and make it really clear and descriptive what this page is about in the meta description. Then you have headings. You can have several headings on the same landing page, and you usually name them H1, H2, and so on. Body text, also important to include keywords there, the keyword there. And images, there you should have your keyword in the alt attribution text in order to make it super clear to Google, what is this landing page about. But it's not only content that is important. One other really important thing that I want to bring up today is quick loaded pages. Google wants to give us a good experience when showing us the search results in the search engine. And yeah, since they want that, they see it's really important that your page is loading as quickly or fast as possible, because if it wouldn't, people would go there and would get annoyed probably, and yeah, probably think that this was a bad experience, and yeah, it would also be bad for Google and for Google's reputation. So in the end, it's a lot about money. Of course, Google is a company that wants to earn money, and if Google can't give the searchers and the users a good experience, well, then probably the chance to earn a lot of money will get lower. So try to work on that part as well, and try to have a as fast loaded page as possible. You can make a test of your own site if you haven't already. For example, here in this tool that Google has, it's called Page Speed Insights. Here I have typed in the domain of IKEA.com, and the score that IKEA gets here is 38, which is quite low. And I would say it's quite common that you actually get a quite low score here. It's really hard to have yeah, a really fast loaded page, or as fast loaded as Google would want it to be in a dream scenario. But what you can do is that you can have a look at the description to what Google think is not that good, or what makes the site loading slower, and ask your developers to have a look at it and see if they can fix some of these issues. Because if you can fix some of the issues, you will probably get a little bit higher score, and the page will load a bit faster, and that is probably good enough. So number 4 is links. And this is a really interesting part, because links is basically a thing that yeah, made Google that successful from the start, and is a reason to why Google stand out from other search engines from the start. Google was founded by Page and Brin, and they came from the academic world. And there in the academic world, you work a lot with references, and you have references to basically everything. And they saw that this could be used on Google as well. So you can actually say that a link when looking at your web page and the links that you have to your website is basically the same thing as references are. It's other sites that are referencing to your site by the links that they have and that they are pointing to your site with. These links are also a bit harder to manipulate, which makes it really relevant to focus on, because if you have good links, valuable links pointing to your site, it stands out a bit, and it makes the chance higher that you will rank high on Google. So it's really a key factor to Google's success. But the world of links is not very democratic. Here you can see an image trying to show the different kinds of links that we have in the internet world. If you look at one specific link, it's very different how qualitative this link is. If you have a link from a site that is really valuable to Google already, and that in its own turn has a lot of links pointing to it, that link is probably worth more than if you have a link from a really small site with basically no links pointing to it. But Google also looks at the relevancy. If the topic on the site that is linking to your site is relevant, then yeah, that link is worth more than if it wasn't. It also looks at the anchor text of the link that you are getting. Is the anchor text relevant? So there are different parameters, and yeah, it's quite hard to know from the start which link will be the most valuable for me. But The best you can do is to try to work with the links as much as possible and try to get them to your site. And if you're good at writing content and you have a lot of relevant content on your site, you will probably get, hopefully, some links just because of that. Here is another example where you can see what kind of different values different links have. So in this example, of course, it's more valuable for me and mysite.com to have a link from the site strongsite.com than from weaksite.com. As you can see in the example here, strongsite.com has a lot of links from authority sites like governmental sites and the newspaper sites, which makes that site itself really strong. And when I get a link from that strong site, that's worth a lot. But as I said, what you should do, you should try to work and get as many links as possible, and you should think link in basically everything you do. Like, for example, in other marketing initiatives you are doing, try to think, how can I get a link from this? And in many times, if you just ask the question to the other site, many times you can get a link for free just because you are partners or you have done something together and you like each other. So start to use that if you don't do it already. Think link. I can give you an example from myself here. I made a webinar 1 month ago or something like that, together with a company called Goava, and I talked about inbound marketing at that webinar. And after that, Goava wrote a blog post or an article on their site about this webinar, where they mentioned me and the webinar, the topic, and the Pineberry and stuff like that. So I asked the person there if she could maybe link to Pineberry from that article, and she happily did. So Pineberry got a good link from that, which we are very, very happy for. And I don't know, Claes, what do you think? Should we do something similar maybe after this webinar?
It's duly noted, Karin. We absolutely should.
Yeah, that's great. So you hear, it's easy to get a link if you think link all the time. Yeah, there you see the link also, by the way. Yeah, and other ways to get links. I mentioned some of them before, but here are some bullets on what you can do in order to get links. You can work on your relations and get links from that. Exchange links with others. It's another way. Work with PR. Content marketing, as I mentioned, if you have great content, you should spread it out and try to get links from that. Satellite sites is another way to get relevant links from. And recycle links, that is if you have had links from before to maybe an old domain, or something has changed on your site maybe since then, which makes this link broken as it looks now. Well, try to contact the site owner that used to link to you and get a new destination of that link to your new site, and then you get back the value of that link as well. So there are different ways to work with, and as I said, if you think link and if you are creative, you will most likely get some of those. Number 5. As I mentioned before, number 5 factor is patience. And that can be frustrating sometimes, that SEO takes time. If we compare it to Google Ads, which you can sort of start to work with today and you see the results tomorrow, SEO takes time. And this is also why I think it's so interesting. You need to work hard, and you need to work with a long perspective because the results won't come tomorrow, probably. So patience is really important factor because of that. And at Pineberry, we sometimes talk about SEO as a long distance run, like a marathon run, or probably even a run for life. It's a lifetime investment to work with SEO. It's nothing it's not something you should do like 10 minutes there and 10 minutes there. It's something you need to work on constantly, and if you do that, and if you do it in the right way, it will give you results. And it's actually, I think, a really great combination to work with both SEO and SEM, because then you have both the short run, the fast run with SEM, and you have the long distance run with SEO. So you have the best combination there, so to say. Yeah, those were the factors I wanted to go through today. And if you want to know more about SEO or SEM and paid social as well, and if you aren't listening to the Sökpodden, the podcast of Pineberry already, I would like to give you that as a tip. It's in Swedish, so you need to understand Swedish, of course, in order to get something out from that. But we do that podcast once every month, and my colleagues are talking about SEO, SEM, and paid social there. I mentioned Sökmotorkonsult before, our blog, and if you would subscribe to our newsletter at Pineberry, you would get emails with information about new blog posts we have been written there during the month. So yeah, it's if you want to learn more about Google and SEO, I would recommend these channels. That was it from my part, and I think it's time that we go to the Q&A session now, right?
Absolutely, Karin. Thank you so much for taking us through your 5 most important factors there, and a lot of great tips there. And I'm sure even though you know something about SEO out there, there is definitely something that you can pick up and start using today. And there's been a lot of questions coming in the questions box. Keep them coming. We'll do our best to answer as many as we can and get the dialogue going here. So the first one, you should be seeing my questions or the questions that have been asked on my screen, on your screen as well. And I will kind of take us through the question here. So the first one there, Karin, is you said that you need to have patience. This is actually from me when you're working with SEO. But how much patience do you need to have? What am I talking about here? Weeks, months, years? What should I expect? Just to align some expectations there.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's hard to say. It really depends on what kind of business you are and what kind of keywords we are talking about, how the competition looks like. So I can't give you an exact number there, and it's also dependent on like how much you have worked with your SEO before, like on which level are you right now. But I mean, it can be everything from that you can see results the same week if you are lucky, up until 1 year from now. I'm sad to say it's hard to say like a more exact number than that, but if I have a specific case to look at, maybe I could give you a little bit better answer.
Okay, so the keyword there is it's not a project that is over, it's an ongoing thing and it takes some time.
Yeah, yes, exactly. But right. It's in most cases, it's definitely worth it.
I agree. So the next question is from Thomas. Should all types of businesses work with SEO, or is this a business to consumer, business to business thing? What do you think?
I would say that most definitely should work with it. If you run a business where there are no basically search volumes at all when it comes to your specific products or services that you are offering, then probably you should consider. It could be maybe a new, let's say we have a new, like a brand new product that we're going to sell that no one has heard about before. Of course, we can't expect that people are searching for that specific product or search phrase if no one has heard about it before. So then you should probably start with another channel, maybe Facebook advertising, or I don't know, some other marketing activity first. But with the time, probably the searches will start to come, and then you should be ready for it. So, and as I said, SEO takes time. So you would probably want to start to work with it even before the search volumes are coming as well.
Okay. Cool. Next question here is from Josephine. And this is actually a question that touches on a lot of the other questions around links. There are some questions around link building, and isn't that penalized, or hasn't it been penalized, and so on. So the question is kind of a catch-all for that, I guess. Is there a way, or do you believe that links will continue to be an important factor for SEO?
I mean, since it's Google that decides, we can never know for sure. We don't have the facts, of course, or know the answer to that. None of us. But as it looks like, and if you listen to what Google says now and how it has been like for the past years of Google's existence, links is a very important factor and an important part. So I don't see anything else. Yeah, at least.
Okay. All right. So next question is from Indira. Is there a way or tool to get to know what search questions and phrases your target group is using? You already mentioned some of the tools and some of the ways, but maybe you could just summarize there. And there are questions around pricing as well, whether there are free tools out there that are available.
Yeah, I mean, there are both free tools and tools that are costing money, but the one that I mentioned in the presentation was Keyword Planner, which is a free tool if you have a Google Ads account. So and that one is a really good tool. I think you get a lot of data from that, so that one I would definitely recommend. We have another tool that we use at Pineberry, which is called Ahrefs. That tool costs a little bit of money, so you need to pay for it. But that is also a great tool when you do that kind of analysis and need to know search volumes and stuff like that. So okay. Those are the top tools I would like to recommend.
Cool, thanks for that. Then the next question is from Santiago. What is the link between video content and SEO?
I mean, video content is something that is shown quite a lot in the search results on Google. So it depends on also, of course, what kind of search terms you're using, if video is a result that is being shown or not. So it depends on which keywords are relevant for you to focus on. But but in some cases it can be good to work on videos and optimize them in a way so they have a high chance to be seen on Google. But apart from that, I mean, YouTube is a really popular channel and has a lot of users. So YouTube is a part of Google. So it's smart to work on your optimization for the videos in order to be visible on YouTube, I would say, as well.
Yeah, I hear YouTube is often referred to as the world's second largest search engine, so that may even push Bing further down. So thanks for that question, Santiago. Here's another question from Carl. Maybe this becomes a little bit too technical, so feel free to skip that, and we can elaborate a little bit on that in feedback directly. But he asks, on your blog, sökmotorkonsult.se, are you linking to your main site? Are those links follow or no follow links? Are those links housed within each post or on a site-wide basis? So a lot about linking from your own sites to your own sites.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, for us, it might be a little bit not maybe unique, but it's a bit special that we actually have one blog on one domain, and then we have our company site on another domain. But that was how we choose to do it from the start. But at the same time, we are really transparent and clear to both our visitors and to Google that these sites sort of belong to each other and that they belong to the same company, so to say. So since we see a value of getting our sökmotorkonsult traffic to convert or to go to pineberry.com, which is more of our company site and where they can read more about our services and so on. We also link between the sites in a transparent way.
Okay.
Was that the answer to the question?
Yeah, I hope so. But specifically, it was about follow and no follow links.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, in that scenario, we see it that we should use a follow link, because we want to make it clear to Google where the link goes. And for those of you who are not familiar to that no follow and follow links, if you put a no follow on your links, you basically you don't show Google where this link is linking, which makes that link worth nothing for the site it's linking to. So it's a way to sort of take away the value from a certain link if you put a no follow attribute to the link.
Okay. All right, Carl, I hope that answered your question. I'm going to skip a few questions ahead here and go to Peter's question. What is your recommendation on single keyword versus long tail keywords phrases?
Well, it's of course it has to do with what kind of keywords we're talking about, but generally I would say that you need to figure out what is my main keywords, my most important keywords, like the short version of it, the main search phrase, so to say, and that should be your main focus. But when focusing on the long tail search as well, you include also that shorter term of the keyword, which makes it smart to also focus on the long tail search phrase, I would say. So well, both is good, but you need to be sure, like, what is my main keyword here? What is it that is worth the most for me to rank on? And your main focus should be there. But then it looks more natural if you would include that long tail search as well and focus on that as well.
Cool. So it's a balance, and it depends on, I guess it also depends on the competition that offer your search words. And I want to skip to a question here from let me see, from Lena. She says, I work for a law firm with a lot of competition regarding search words, which are similar for all companies. How should I think about SEO for our web page? And maybe this is where some long-tail strategy could come into play as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good question, and as she says there, I mean, it's important to look at how the competitors are acting and like how the competition looks like, because the best scenario is if you find a spot where basically no one has been before, or where few are ranking today, because then you have, of course, a higher chance to manage to rank high there. But what is also important to look at is, like, how does these competitor sites look like, and how many links do they have, and how great are they at writing content and so on. Because if you see that, if you start to work with your SEO even more and even better, if you see that you have a chance to do it better than your competitors, you should start to do that and start to work on that. And yeah, of course, as I said, have patience and everything. It can take some time, but yeah, if you see that you have a possibility to do it better than your competitors, you should aim for that, and that should be your strategy, I would say. But if they, of some reason, are way ahead, and it's hard for you to get there, even if you would like to, and if you spend a lot of time doing it, probably it's better to find a spot where where no one has been before, or where it's not that competitive, and try to aim for that instead.
All right, cool. Thank you for that question, Lena. Really relevant, as I guess a lot of us are in competitive industries. So thinking about how SEO can work when you're competing for the same types of keywords there. Here's a question back to link building. It's a question from Otto. He says he really wants to know about link building and whether link building can kind of, if you can go overboard, if it's being penalized. Way back when SEO kind of was the new buzzword, you know, you had these link building farms and you kind of had misuse of people link building. Is there, have we reached a balance now, or where do you see the penalizing effect of link building?
Well, I mean, Google has become much smarter compared to how it was, some years ago when this was more common. So nowadays, I mean, you need to work in a very smart and natural way, I would say, in order to not risk that Google will penalize your site. I mean, if you are unsure, it's probably smart to take a second opinion from someone who has a lot of experience within this. It's hard for me to say exactly here, since it's very, like, generally I can speak right now, but basically, I mean, Google is getting smarter and smarter all the time, and that you need to keep in mind. So I think if you work with links in the way I recommended in the webinar, if you do content marketing, for example, and do stuff and initiatives that makes you deserve to get those links, the chance will, of course, then be lower that you are risking something, because all links that you get in a natural way are natural links that are less riskful to get, so to say.
Yeah, I guess the common sense that I would apply here, Otto and others asking about this, is if you're trying to really outsmart Google and doing something fishy like paying sites to link to you even though they're not related to you in any practical way, Google is probably going to outsmart you back, right? So, but as Karin says, if you build links and build reputation with quality sites from links that are relevant, from pages that are relevant and that are also behaving in the way that you would expect, like good behavior, you're probably on the good foot there. So a bit of common sense there is probably also important.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. Okay, Karin, I can tell you that the questions are pouring in. We're already more than 5 minutes past the hour, so we will have to get back to more of you guys via email and follow up, and maybe do a follow-up webinar at a later stage, because we can't take any more time out of you guys' day. So thank you so much for all of the questions and for being on the webinar today, and to you especially, Karin, for sharing your insights there. It's truly valuable for everybody. If you guys fancy more webinars about marketing and marketing challenges, we have a couple of webinars coming up in the near future. We have one on how to win at content marketing on April 28th. And we have another one on Google Ads on May 7th as well. So you'll find those on emarketer.com/webinars. And we hope to see a lot of you guys there. Slides and recordings will be distributed to everybody after the webinar today. Thank you so much once again, Karin, for doing this with us.
Yeah, thank you. It's been really great and fun, and yeah, looking forward to also getting back to you that didn't get your questions answered now. Yes, have a great day, everyone, and thanks for this webinar.